Okay, we're live.
Hey,
Hi.
welcome back.
Yeah, long time no see.
I feel like it's been so long. It's probably only been what, a couple of tastings, but man,
No,
time flies
I,
when you're sipping whiskey.
yeah, I think the last time we did one of these was in November, maybe.
Yeah.
It's crazy. A lot
So
has happened in those
that's
short
right.
2 months. So it's very nice to see you.
Great to see you too, Jenna. How was your holiday season?
It was quiet and, that's all I can really ask for. So,
Right on. Yeah.
yeah. How about you?
Ours was a little more hectic with the young one. You know,
Yeah.
her 5 months old first Christmas. So yeah, there was a lot of FaceTiming going on, and
Yeah.
a lot of presents to be opened for her. I didn't get anything, but
You don't fire
yeah,
a convertible or anything yet, did you?
not yet, not
Not
yet.
yet. Okay.
No,
All
we started the bank account. That's good enough. But yeah, it was great,
right.
and it's great to be back and be able to taste some whiskey with you.
Yeah, I'm excited. So, we are going to be tasting 5 today, and I
Yep.
think the Outturn has 8.
Six.
6.
There's six in the outturn, so we're gonna taste four from the outturn, and we're gonna kick it off with a very special dram outside of the outturn that was recently released.
I'm
And I
excited
think
for this.
we probably want to taste this one with a fresh palate
Yeah.
and really get into it. But before we kick it off, just a quick merciless plug for anyone tuning in. Please join myself, Jenna, Ben, and our guest Jason Waddleton on Monday, Burns Night. Yeah, it's coming. So the four of us are going to get together on YouTube and taste through our Burns Night bottling, the 112.73, plus a few other goodies that we've curated for the evening. We're going to kick it off at 8 p.m. and it should be about an hour and a half tops. So not too much of your time. You'll have plenty of time to pound some haggis and do some toasts and such. But yeah, it should be really fun. I did it in a Burns night with Jason at his bar, the Haven, Scottish bar in Boston, in Jamaica Plain, and his address to the haggis was just phenomenal, absolutely breathtaking to listen to. So I'm not sure how it will translate on YouTube, but I'm certain it'll be worth everyone's time. And he's got some fun toasts and stuff, and we'll just kind of leisurely hang out, have a good chat, have some good whiskeys, and do our best to bring a little Burns night life to the evening without actually being able to throw the parties like we normally would.
Right. Yeah, that's the best we can do right now. So hopefully, for the next Burns next year, we'll be in person and be able to stuff our face with haggis together.
Yeah.
So this is a little different. We're doing our Outturn a little different today. So the Outturn actually goes live at 2:00 Eastern time instead of 1:00 Eastern time today. So that's really the only little change. So if you jumped on now, you won't see anything because they will go live in about an hour over on our website. So let's kick this off.
Yeah. Shall we get into it?
Let's get into it. I'm so
All right.
excited. I haven't properly sat down to do this, taste and nose of whiskey. And honestly, it's been probably almost a month that I've been able to sit down and do this. So I'm really, really excited for this.
Well, for me, it's been maybe 24 hours, but I'm rusty. So we'll make the best of it.
All right, let's do it. So while we're kind of prepping for that, I just wanted to say hi to everyone who is here. We have Pickly Dew, the first one in. It's nice to see you on our chat. Christine Daisy, Joshua Case. We have Sean from Ohio. Matthew J. Ryan, the Tar King himself, has joined us. Hello. Yeah, we have a whole crew here. Sunday Evening Scotch, and it's nice to see everyone back here. So you want to kind of talk to us a little bit about this first dram, this very special first dram of the day?
Yeah, we're kicking it off in ultra style here today.
Ooh.
So this first dram is our most recent Vaults collection release that went out last week. This is cask 38.27, entitled Treasure Hunt. Yep. And this is a tremendous distillery, a closed distillery A lot of times you'll see that we write about silent distilleries, and that means that they're no longer producing. In this case, the building was actually demolished, I believe, in 2002. So it's been a little while. There can't be many of these casks left. So it's really exciting for us to have our hands on one and be able to share it with you. It did see a pretty strong opening last week. There are still a few bottles left of this, and you know, the Vaults collection signifies our most precious spirits. Of course, all of our single casks are near and dear to us, but you know, there are some that for different reasons are a step kind of head and shoulders above the rest, and this one really speaks to one of the most crucial aspects of the Vaults collection, which is tasting whiskeys that are no longer being produced. So a literal step back in liquid history.
It's so vibrant on the nose. It has a very, the nose is so alive. Really, yeah.
Well, this distillery is known for that really expressive core of tropical fruit.
Big time.
And it really, really jumps out at you.
Yeah, it's like it almost reminds me of it's creamy though on the nose. It's like banana pineapple milkshake.
Yeah, I'm getting quite a bit of mango type, like almost like a mango guava type synthesis there. But yes, you can smell the texture, which is maybe a little weird, but yeah, you can absolutely tell that you're going to get a really nice, as you say, creamy kind of mouthfeel to it.
Yeah. I love that in a whiskey where like the nose tells you so much, you know, that you can smell texture in a whiskey, I think is one of the coolest things. So
yeah, that 26 gives that to you quite a bit as well.
Yes,
you know,
that's
that distillery, you know.
Yeah, I remember the first time I ever had a 38 was actually in Seattle. We were talking about that. I don't know if our member extraordinaire, Brian McCoy, and I did an event there, and it was love letters on linen paper.
Love letters on linen paper, yeah. 38.25, yeah.
That was...
Oh, excuse me, 38.22.
That was stellar. So I'm very excited for this.
Gorgeous. Yeah, great stuff. We've had a few casks from this distillery in our time with the society, and they have all certainly, I think, over-delivered.
All right, well, cheers.
Yeah, Slanja, welcome back.
Oh, that first. Oh my gosh. That is amazing.
Wow.
I don't know if it's because my palate is, you know, like reliving the first time I ever had whiskey again.
Yeah, I think it's good to do this first.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, for society standards, a pretty shy ABV of, I think, 49.8 or something like that. Yep, there we are. So, yeah, but it's still the entry is really expansive, and you get a little touch of the alcohol.
Yeah, but it's bold. Like it's like
bold
really robust. Yeah.
And then immediately all of those tropical fruits keep coming at you. Some white flowers. On the finish, just a touch of like the slightest hint of like a freshly cracked like white peppercorn or pink peppercorn, something like that.
Yeah,
very mild spice, and that finish just keeps on going.
Yeah, it has great texture, great like the viscosity of it. It coats your whole palate. I really like that kind of white floral note. It tastes like lilies smell a little bit.
Very pretty. Yeah. That's really elegant.
Ooh.
And now the second neat taste I've taken, that kind of first hit of alcohol is gone, and now it's just going right into the creaminess and the fruit and flower kind of appeal. Wow, that's really good.
That is, wow! What a way to come back.
Wanted to treat you right today. You know,
this is so crazy. I know.
So I'm going to dilute this guy just a little bit. I mean, if I were on my own, you know, I'd probably just keep drinking it neat a bit longer, but you know, twist our arm. We have 4 more beautiful whiskeys to taste.
Yeah, this is just like a beautiful whiskey. I don't really know how else to describe it. It is like elegant, and it is, you know, like you said, it's pretty. It's, I don't know, there's just like, this takes you somewhere. Like this transports you to like a castle in the summer, and it's like the wind's blowing, and okay, I'm getting emotional. Maybe it's because it's the first one I've had in a while. But
Nice. Well, yeah, and you know, this is out of a second fill barrel. I feel like the second fill barrels these days are just crushing it. No matter what's coming out of there, to me, for me, that's a really, really nice barrel protocol that I look forward to. I guess in theory, a bit more of the make kind of shining through, you know. Yeah. This makes for a really, really elegant sipper.
Yeah, that's taken me some time to appreciate, like the finding, you know, the actual make of the spirit, you know, where it's so easy to get focused on cask and, you know, that sort of thing. But to be able to have a combination, like you said, to be able to really taste like the spirit of the whiskey is a treat. So
yeah, well, that's you know, that's what the space side, you know, freaks are all about, is really getting into that little bit of nuance. I know Matt is watching, so I don't want to piss off the Tar Life crowd, but you know, a space side, you know, devotee will tell you that's what, you know, that's what they're kind of looking for. All these little tiny nuances, you know, that really come through with amazing purity.
Yeah, this is a treat. So thank you for that.
So diluted, I mean, more of that really gorgeous, just kind of a tropical fruit salad, you know, all kinds of fruits leaping. I'm still getting that white flour, maybe not quite as much as on the palate, but it's there for sure.
Yeah. So let me look and see, actually, while I think we have about 16 of these left. So not very many.
Okay. Yeah. I thought we had a couple more, but okay. That's good. You know, good for us, right? But yeah, you know, I mean, it's certainly at a different price point than most of our whiskeys, but I think for good reason. You know, given the provenance of this, the exclusivity, the ultra exclusivity of this particular cask. And I was wrong. My sentiment a minute ago. Absolutely, add water to this. It's oh man, it's just like complete silk now on the palate.
Yeah, I really love this whiskey's kind of like the whole package. That's, you know, great from start to finish, you know, from nose to finish. It's just a stunning whiskey. So
just very quickly, I took it out of its box already, but do recall, if you see above me, wait, that way, yeah,
there you go.
There are some bulk boxes up there, but this is the label. Sorry, I'm still not used to. Is that good? How's that?
That's good.
I'm still not used to this whole social thing.
There we go.
Yeah, but Treasure Hunt, yeah, cask 38.26, 27 years in a second fill barrel. I may have said 38.27 earlier in the program. My apologies. That's coming. That's coming. I am rusty. It's coming, but in several more months. So you'll have to bide your time until then. Okay. So
let's get into another like kind of crazy. This outturn's kind of crazy.
Combined. So the dram we just had and this dram combined age 57 years old. Not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I have to pinch myself today.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one we're going to be tasting is a grain whiskey. So G8.15, Dangerously Innocent and Sweet, a 30-year in a refill hogshead. These grain whiskeys, I think what I've found that I like the most about them is a lot of times when I nose them, they remind me of like a really amazing rum. Like that nose, you know, like a really beautiful rum.
Yeah, I
don't know.
I think of Samaroli rum. It's like an independent bottler who would source like some really crazy rum. And when I was in my previous life, when I was selling all kinds of spirits, he had one in particular called the Caribbean cask. So it was just about all Cuban, and then he teaspooned in some Jamaican and called it Caribbean cask, and got around all that. So it was a gorgeous one, and this is reminiscent to me of that nose in some ways.
Yeah, I have a few rums that I've really enjoyed over the past, couple of years, and that's what that just first initial rush to the nose.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to like try, because we all love single malt, of course. We all love whiskey, but it's fun to sort of call out the other, kind of comparing and contrasting to other spirits that we may have in the cupboard. And I certainly our tasting panel likes to do that as well. So
yeah, and I think too, I feel like my love and appreciation for just single malt, and whiskey in general has led me to appreciate other spirits way more than I have, in the past. So, and vice versa, getting into other spirits has made me appreciate whiskey more and find more things in whiskey that I didn't find before. And so I think there's a nice, relationship between other spirits and, single malt whiskey. So, whew, this is good. All right.
I mean, it's definitely a switch from that like tropical craziness that we had before. Certainly a little more of the grain character coming through to me on the nose. If I recall correctly, this particular distillery typically deals in wheat and malted barley. Specific proportions unknown.
Yeah, this is really beautiful. I'm getting like rum cake. Maybe that's just what's in my head.
Well, you're in a good place then.
Yes, I am. All right, I'm giving this a taste. Whoa.
Spicy. Yeah. Big spice kind of comes out sideways in the mid palate. Oh, that's really good.
But it's like there's a drying element.
Yeah, there is.
That I really enjoy.
Yeah. A lot more herbaceousness coming through on the finish.
Big time.
Yeah. I'm getting a bit more kind of like dried hay sort of aspect, like kind of late summer
grass
hay fields.
Like dried
I
grass.
grew up in cow country, so maybe like, right before hay is going to be baled, cut and baled. That's kind of what you'd smell.
But I really love that this kind of whiskey is like an experience. So it's like the nose is one experience, and then you taste it, and then that first initial taste is kind of sweet, and then there's like this wave of, like you said, spice and herbaceousness, and then it just like comes closing in, and it's like drying. Like it is like a roller coaster whiskey, and I really like that. Wow, what a Tuesday!
Not bad. After a long weekend, no less.
Wow. Yeah, this is.
Still plenty of fruit character too, though. We haven't really touched on that, and there's plenty there to be derived. I'm getting some very ripe pear character, maybe kind of like a red apple.
Yep.
As opposed to a Granny Smith, but something a little sweeter and fleshier. Yeah, that's really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And of course, 30 years old for that price is really cool. That's still a point of immense value, I think. Whether it's within the context of the society or beyond it. So.
Yeah, and I think this is a great opportunity to taste a whiskey, that is this old.
Right.
I don't know if I hadn't been introduced to like single grain whiskeys through the society, if that's like an avenue I would have gone down as soon as I did. And I'm really glad that, we've had the opportunity to do that, because these are a lot of fun.
Yeah, and with the exception of G15, which is using 100% malted barley, but just not in a pot still, we're almost always letting these age at least 25 years, because quite frankly, you need to get those other grains in line with whatever malted barley is in the mash bill. So that gives it the time it deserves to really come together in the glass, and this is fantastic.
I agree.
Let me dilute a little bit.
Oh yeah, I have water here.
You're just not using it.
I'm just not using it today. I'll drink it, but I'm just not using it today.
A little bit more here, and already just a quick diluted nose brings out a lot more of that orchard fruit. Now I'm getting like kind of spiced pears, something a bit more autumnal.
Like stewed pears in rum, maybe.
Oh, you keep going back to rum. I know. A pirate's life for you, I guess.
I don't know. I'd probably jump on a pirate ship at this point.
I mean, now that you're mentioning it, yeah, sure. I'm getting a bit, of like almost like a, I don't know, like a Hemingway daiquiri or something,
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just
not just pure rum, but some of that, fresh, like sour, like fresh lime juice with simple syrup and that kind of thing.
Maybe we're just longing for a vacation or to get out of our cities and beach somewhere.
Oh, wow. And now on the palate here, for me at least, that red skin apple is kind of taking the forefront.
Yeah.
Really soft, really supple.
I really like that red apple note in this. And maybe that's where I'm getting like that drying sensation from like apple skins. It's really, really good whiskey.
Spice is still there, obviously not as aggressive as that first sip, but yeah, it's much more integrated with just a little bit of dilution. Yeah, really nice. Here, let me throw this up here on the big board.
Let me move this banner so you can see it.
All right. Dangerously innocent and sweet. And 30 years old from the lowlands. So, this outturn is, we talk about food pairing and that sort of thing. And it's not always easy to pair food with whiskey. It certainly requires a heartier thirst, if you will. I mean, food and wine pairing, that's small potatoes. Anybody can do that. But pouring these big boys up against different foods and dishes and such can be challenging sometimes, but certainly rewarding, I think, by the end of the night. And these, of course, we kind of have Burns night in mind for. So this one and probably the next one would be more of your aperitif hour, just having some maybe a whiskey with some dilution, or even throw a couple of rocks in your grain. I know 30 years, you probably shouldn't throw rocks in there, but one or two isn't going to kill anybody. And yeah, it'll be, I think, a nice way to kick off your evening.
Yeah, I agree. I think these grain whiskeys are a great way to kind of kick it off. So good call on that. All right.
And are there any? Sorry, again, I'm new at this, but are there any questions in the? I don't see the chat, but I assume people are chatting away. So
Sunday evening Scotch made a great point. We have some new members joining us for the first time.
Welcome.
So welcome, Mo. Yes.
Yeah. Good to have you.
Yeah, Sunday evening Scotch made a great comment that my guiding principle in SMWS is that I can't get it all. If I miss something great or just have to pass due to cost, I know there is great stuff coming all year, and that's
absolutely true. I mean, what are we pumping out, like 20 plus casks a month? So, we understand that, sometimes people do miss out, and that stinks. And, we've become pretty successful, I think, with the lottery for certain casks. And I think you might see a little bit more of that, but there will also be that sort of, first come, first served element. And if you do miss out, certainly we'd encourage you to give us a call. We might have something tucked away, or at least be able to point you in a direction for an upcoming release, or just give you a kind word, to soothe your weary soul. But things, there are always going to be new casks coming out, and that's the beauty of this. I mean, yes, all of these casks are very limited, but there's always more. There's always more behind it. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let's cruise into number 3, shall we?
Sure.
So we're got to keep on time. So when that
2 o'clock, I think we're doing okay, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Give everybody a few minutes to get their battle gear on for the release, and yeah.
All right. So the third one we're going to be tasting is cask 39.204. It's called First Snowdrop of the Year. I love that name. Light and delicate, Speyside, 8 years at 62.6% ABV. Light and delicate.
Light and delicate indeed. Yeah. As light and delicate as a, I don't know. I just kind of trailed off on that thought. I was hoping to pull something like a WWE wrestler or something, but didn't quite get there. But this distillery, typically known for very kind of floral elements, elegant, and my first nosing here is actually much more confection oriented. I'm getting like loads of kind of like butterscotch candies.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. Or like even there's like a almost cotton candy element.
Right. Yep.
To that. Yeah, it's like a sweet shop.
A bit more kind of. Oh my goodness, did I lose you? No.
No.
Okay, good. Sorry, something just came up on my computer. A bit more peach, like ripe peach behind it.
Oh.
No. But that butterscotch is big, or Werther's Original, somewhere in between. If you could cross those two, typical hard butterscotch candy and a Werther's Original together, that's what I got. That's what I got.
But now that you've said peach,
it's a secondary aroma for sure. It's coming after the candy shop.
Yeah, it's like a melony. Gosh, what is that?
Melon, like a cantaloupe or honeydew melon.
So there are these little Korean candies that we get often, and I can't remember what they're called, but they come in like a really colorful little wrapper, and they taste just like the smells. And they're like peach, like lychee.
Lychee. Yeah, there's definitely a little lychee in there. Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. These light and delicates are like sleepers, I feel like. It's like, light and
light and delicates are sleepers. The young and sprightlies are a little more obvious because they are sprightly in the fact that they have like almost 70% alcohol, most of them. But the light and delicates, and that's not. Although I feel like we have released a lot of these flavor profiles. That's actually one of the more elusive flavor profiles, by and large, for the society amongst the 12. This is one you really don't get to see too often. But I feel like the U.S. chapter at least has had a good run of them the last few months.
Mm. Whoa. Palate is very different.
More of that kind of drying sensation you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I get a really quick kiss of that candy up front, but then that dissipates and it moves to more just kind of grain. I'm getting a lot of grain in the mid palate.
I got like pepper. It's like peppery.
It's peppery. It's like black peppery.
Black peppery, yeah.
On like maybe a piece of cornbread or something.
Yeah.
Or like a buttery biscuit.
Whoa. I'm going to try this one with water.
And then a little touch of like that kind of bubble gum or almost kind of a waxy texture to
Mm-hmm.
it on the finish. Yeah, I'll dilute now.
I actually prefer this with water.
I seem to be having a water day, I guess. You know?
Yeah, this is really, really, really like it rounds it all out. The water does. And that like peppery note is just like singing in the middle of my palate, and it's actually kind of refreshing because the nose is so sweet. So it's like a full meal. It's like you have the sweet, you have, the more savory, you have the peppery. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I see that a lot because even diluted on the nose, I'm still getting a lot of that candy I was talking about earlier, but not on the palate at all. And yes, I mean, squarely black pepper.
big time.
That's a pretty hearty note there, and it stays with you. It stays with you through the finish.
Yeah.
I'm also though getting a lot more of the floral character that these guys are known for.
But are you getting it like I'm getting it on the finish, like the aftertaste? Like that's what's like kind of like stuck to the top of my palate is that like little floral wisp.
Yeah, it's definitely a top note, and it's an accent. Yes, it's not driving. It's not driving the profile at all. Definitely that pepper, and a slight bit of the confection as well coming through on the finish. But yeah, that's a fun dram.
It is. It's
That's
like
a fun dram.
that's like a meal dram. Like I don't know. That's
A bit sturdier than light and delicate, huh?
yeah, it really is. And I always find that so funny because there have been quite a few light and delicates that I have felt that way about. They're the sleeper to me this year. So yeah, that's fun. I do have a question.
Okay. I hope I have an answer.
So Connery Carson asked, do you prefer the Burns bottle or Gunsmoke?
Or Gunsmoke over the Moor. So 112.73 or 16.48 depends on what am I doing? Am I am I having a dram to start the evening, to finish the evening? Am I eating barbecue or am I eating Chinese food? Those kinds of questions. I mean, the 112.73 has that Madeira maturation that gives it very rounded, kind of raisinated and aromas, flavors, and a pretty soft palate. The Gunsmoke over the Moor is giving you that fairly intense Highland peat, a bit more medicinal than you would theorize, coming from the Highlands as opposed to Islay, but still all of that cool wood smoke and everything. So that's something I'm probably sipping with barbecue or kind of towards the end of the night, because after you taste that, I mean, those are kind of the fireworks for the palate in a way, and it's tough to go back to an unpeated whiskey afterwards and kind of pull out all the nuances that you probably could beforehand. So for all you folks who show up to whiskey tastings, when we get back to whiskey tasting, don't kick off with the peated whiskey. At least give yourselves a half hour, 40 minutes of that tasting to get into some unpeated stuff first. I always try to tell folks, you probably don't want to do this, but it's I think it's the best way to kind of get the most out of each of the things you're tasting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, qualitatively, I think they're both on the same playing field. So it would really be a situational decision. If you're asking me if I could somehow take those two and put them into one glass, I mean, I wouldn't do that.
You could try it.
I guess you could. But I'm I've said this before. I love all my bells and whistles in one glass. Still one of my most favorite whiskeys is a number 3 that was ex Oloroso from Islay. So I love all that stuff, but separately you're kind of looking at a situational thing.
Yeah, I think those 16s have been just stellar.
They've been a real surprise to me. you know, one after another. They're typically young, typically in a recharred hogshead. And I understand why. I mean, those things are just rocking.
I agree.
Yeah. And the 16.48, I think, is gone, but we still have a little bit of 16.50 on our website as well. If anyone happened to miss out on 16.48, they can snag a 0.50 and probably be pretty happy with it.
Yeah. And then Mo said, I never add water. I need to explore that side. I do smoke cigars with my whiskey most of the time, though. Probably need to explore a dram the way you guys are.
Well, you know, hey, I love a good cigar, you know, nothing like a solid stick to enjoy with your dram. But it is 1 o'clock in the afternoon here, and I am indoors, so there are certain limiting factors. But as far as the dilution, yeah, you should try it. You know, I mean, the amazing thing about the society is, aside from a very small handful of bottlings released each year, we don't water down anything. So it's up to you as the taster to kind of dilute to your to your liking. And if you don't want to dilute it all, you know, that's totally fine. But when you're tasting in this sort of scenario where we are actually examining the whiskey, I think it behooves everyone to taste neat, and then with the dilution, and then after that, you know, do whatever you like more. So, for instance, in my mind, I wouldn't have ever diluted that first whiskey, the 38.26, but after I diluted it, you know, I mean, it was just for me, it was so much better.
Yeah.
With just a few drops of water, we're talking here, not a lot, but
so that's all it takes.
That can really change. Yeah, you have the hydrophobic molecules that kind of leap out of the glass once you introduce the water. So you're typically getting a bit more complexity on the nose. And with certain whiskeys, maybe it's nicer to have them a bit softer on the palate.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
It's all a personal experience, but yeah, you should give it a shot. You know, do a little bit of dilution here and there.
Yeah, and the great thing is, you know, especially with these whiskeys, it's nice because you can really tailor it to your liking. So.
Right, and if you add too much water, hopefully you still have a lot of whiskey left.
Yeah.
So, chuck more of that and just go back and forth, I guess.
There you go. Yeah. All right, so let's cruise into the fourth one, which hails from one of my favorite distilleries. So I'm always excited to see one of these come through the pipeline.
It's a beautiful place in Scotland. I mean, Loch Lomond is the lake I'm talking about here. The lake.
I
is a great. It. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. I'm an upstate New Yorker, so it reminds me of Lake George in many ways. It's very long. It's very narrow. Has lots of little islands along the way. And from this, this distillery is named after one of those islands. In fact, all the whiskeys that are bottled under this one roof are named after one of those islands.
Yes, and I think that this distillery is they're so fascinating. I love that they're able to create many different styles of whiskey, you know, under one roof. And if you read about it, they say it just looks like an industrial complex. It's not a pretty looking distillery, you know, like your Glenfiddich of the world or your Macallans of the world. They say it just looks like a industrial building, but I dream of that industrial building all the time.
They're doing some really, really fun and interesting things.
I agree.
On several levels. I mentioned G15 earlier, the malted barley that gets run through the continuous still. That's also made under this roof as well.
Yep. So this is cask 112.68, a tasty plethora, a 17-year Highland in our spicy and sweet flavor profile at 56.8% ABV. And this is in a refill hogshead, which so good color on that.
Yeah, there is some really nice color.
Yeah.
Maybe newly refilled. I don't know. I mean, that's probably the third usage I would surmise from this coloring, and has a really nice ripe nose. It
is. I could just keep my nose in this glass all day.
I was speaking to a member and a good pal, and he was saying, man, every time you release one of these 112s, I'm just amazed each and every time. So it's cool that we have a bit coming up. We have a bit that has been released, and yeah, I thought this, if you had won the 112.73 lottery, this could be a really fun side by side, because I think you're going to find a lot of similarities actually in these two whiskeys, even though they come from very different maturations. And then if you didn't get your name called for this, and you wanted to check out something that would be really good for haggis, you're still covered with this. This is a spicy and sweet flavor profile, and a good haggis should have a good amount of pepper in it. So it's
I may have to
typically
scoop one of these up.
a nice compliment, but yeah, I'm getting some really nice kind of raisinated fruits actually.
Yeah. There's almost like a syrupy, like maple syrupy quality.
Yes.
To the nose on this. Oh man, this is
fresh, like kind of fresh figs, other like kind of golden raisins maybe.
Yeah. Fig is a great note, like a fig syrup.
Now you're talking.
Whew. All right, I'm tasting it.
Wow.
I'm done.
That's
tapping
I
out.
don't think you're done. I don't think you're done.
Gosh.
This last one looks and smells remarkable. So you're not quite done. But I get what you're saying here.
Wow.
I'm picking up what you're laying down. Yeah, this is a really, to me, it's a mouthful of flavors. It is
all
over the place.
Exactly that. I mean, this is one of those whiskeys that, like, I have to taste this, I think, again, and then again, and then maybe again, because I think this is one of those ones that you can really sit down with, and like, this is like a conversation piece. Yep. You know, you can really dig a lot out of this dram. Wow. I gotta taste it again. I don't even know where to start.
So let's start with the texture, maybe, because there were so many flavors coming at me. It's kind of hard to pull them all out, but really silky entry, really just kind of coats the palate. You're getting, it's not really that drying you were talking about, but there's a lot of structure on the mid palate. The finish, I'm getting some more kind of, this is weird to say this because it's out of a refill hoggy, but kind of more barrel spice than like pepper spice or or cabinet spice. Maybe if you stretch, like, you might be able to pull out some very light kind of cinnamon or something. It's a bit of a stretch for me, but
I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's like
it's soft, it's undulating. It's not overwhelming at all. No. And then, I mean, as far as the flavors,
there is like a woody quality to this, almost like a damp woodiness.
Yep.
But it's like you said, very soft, and like it just kind of encompasses this like very silky, syrupy. It's not like sweet, and I don't find it
more like savory desserts.
Yeah. Those figs.
What would those be? Yeah.
Like dates and figs, and that's
a really fun dram. That's really, really fun.
It is.
Yeah, we could certainly sit here, I think, for a while and really unpack this. But we do have one more dram.
We do have one more.
Anyway, this would be a highly recommended from the Outturn, for sure. I mean, I certainly recommend them all, but this is a personal surprise for sure.
I agree.
Like, because we read the notes, like everyone reads the notes, and you kind of expect something, and this is a bit more.
Yeah, this is.
So let's dilute this real quick. I mean, I guess we do now have to be mindful of the time, because
yes,
I'm a talker. I'm a talker. That's just how it goes. That fig is even more prominent now.
Yeah, this is really stellar.
a bit more like almost kind of, it's floral, but geranium-ish, like something in that realm. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting crazy, but
it's definitely fragrant.
Something exotic there that I can't quite nail.
Yeah, that's a winner. Whew. And the last one we're tasting too is from, like, this whole lineup is just.
Well, I chose it for you, Jenna.
I feel really special.
Yeah.
This is really fantastic. So, I mean, it's not a moment to take lightly. Like, yes, this is what we do for a living, but this is a really special thing. So,
so that palette is just lovely. I mean, it still has all the texture. I mean, this is after dilution. It still has all the texture. It still has all the angles, of that kind of earthy wood you were talking about. That light spice is certainly there on the finish, and just really nice dark fruits and a bit of, I don't know, like almost caramel or something like that. Really nice. Did you see my light go out? Yeah, guys. I'm in this like ghetto private office, and the light just goes out. What are you gonna do? Trying times. Good thing I have whiskey in front of me.
all right.
Yeah, so that's a nice one. 112.68. Sorry, let me just hold that up real quick. Oh goodness.
I think the name is.
You think I get better at this?
There we are. That is, it is a plethora of flavor. So I think that's
and a 17-year-old dram. I mean, that's got some good age on it.
That is really spot on.
Yeah. All right. So we have one more left.
Last one.
And when I poured this bad boy out last week, I just said, "Whoa, look at that color." That's pretty intense.
It is a very beautiful color for sure.
Yeah.
I think this distiller, oh my gosh, that nose.
Yep.
Holy cow. Oh my gosh.
It's fun. I mean, to say the least. We're scratching the surface by saying it's pretty fun.
I was like, oh yeah, it's like this distillery I love. I think they're really underrated. And then like I got a little whiff of that nose, and
they are underrated. They're a distillery like in the suburbs. You're just driving through Elgin, and then all of a sudden, boom, here you are. Distillery number 35.
Yeah, I think.
And yeah, they were pioneers of the white wine finish back in the day, or additional maturation. And since they broke away, and have been on their own. I mean, they've been making incredible whiskeys. I still have several. I had the chance to visit this distillery a couple of years ago with the national ambassador of Australia.
Oh, nice.
With Matt Bailey, and we had a great time. Of course, we're rolling up, and Matt just texts Graham, is like, "Hey, can you meet with us?" So then we get this beautiful, curated tour, and then we're tasting really far out samples, like out of iced tea bottles that he's pulling out from all different places. I mean, I liked the distillery before. After that, I was just so impressed with not only what they had been doing, but the direction they were going in, and it's always such a joy. Obviously, this dram was or this cask was created long before Graham's tenure there, which you told me came to an end recently. But yeah, this is wonderful. We should just get into this guy. We got 12 minutes.
So 35.257, a Desert Island dram. The nose, that's spot on. Juicy oak and vanilla flavor profile at 25 years in a first fill toasted oak hogshead. And it's at 59.6% ABV. Wow.
And this was all 25 years in this toasted oak hogshead, and man, does that shine through. Wow. I mean, that is a nose. Like, pardon my language, but holy shit! Like,
I literally.
This is like, I mean, this is a really cool nose.
Taste it.
Oh, I know.
I was going to say a bad word, and then I was like, oh, I don't know if I can say that.
I'll say it. It's fine. People can report me if they have to. I don't know.
Yeah, that is, man, and here I thought that I was done. I am now. That is.
No
way
different though. Way different.
Yes.
So the nose is like rambunctious and like, you know, very aggressive almost, and you're just like, oh, I could smell this all day. You hit the palate and it's, oh wow, yeah, right. This is 25 years old. This completely integrated, like.
I mean, this is.
It's certainly you do feel the tannin. You do feel the barrel tannin on the mid palate. Big time,
but it's in a good way. It's not, you know,
well, it's structure.
It's not,
you know, it's structure. Time. It's not just, it's not all just like flopping around, you know, and just falling down your throat. There's a lot of structure there, and it gives you so much more because it's almost like sticking to the mid palate. Like I've swallowed it, and yeah, I have some stuff on the finish, but I still have flavors that are coming out in the middle of my mouth. And wow, that's pretty awesome. I don't know if we've ever released something that spent 25 years, at least from this distillery, 25 years in a first fill toasted oak hogshead.
Yeah,
that's a pretty bold. I would think that this would be an additional maturation barrel, and maybe do it for the last 2 years. But the fact that it stayed in that barrel for all 25 years, I think is a pretty bold move. And it's absolutely paid off.
It is. We have had many, I recommend 35s all the time because they're just stunning. They're beautiful. And I can't speak highly enough about, I mean, I personally have some that I've, purchased myself because I've been so impressed by them. But this is just, I mean, the bar just keeps getting set higher and higher because this is just remarkable. This is a remarkable whiskey.
Yeah. And I mean,
wow.
I mean, so what are we getting here? I mean, all kinds of like, let's raid the cabinet, the cabinet rather, the spice rack rather, and let's get all of that like cinnamon, cardamom, nutmeg,
yes.
Even more savory stuff.
Cardamom is big in this for me. I mean, that's a spice that I personally love. And I'm getting that in this for sure. There's almost like on the finish, there's like a little fennel seed. Like it's so faint, but it's like, just like across.
There is a lot in here. Yeah. There's a lot in here. And sure. I mean,
wow.
I could think about that for sure and pull that out.
Wow. Well, this was incredible. This was, I mean, to come back, after being gone for so long to a preview like this is just such a treat. So thank you so much.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. I mean, it's your show. I'm just showing up, slamming whiskey in the middle of the day. It's the least I can do, Jenna.
It's almost 11 a.m. here. So this is a great way to kick off a Tuesday morning.
But yeah, this is wow. That's a really good whiskey.
It really is.
That is out of this world. I mean, yeah, I don't know what else to say.
And then I want to put up the full outturn just so people can kind of take a look to see what's coming out.
Yeah, I actually have the bottles here.
Okay.
If you wanted me to so there were just two that we omitted. Cask 113. There we are.
Okay.
Cask 113.39.
Okay.
That's called Frivolous and Fun. That's a second fill barrel, 8 years old, out of the Speyside Spey. So this is another really nice expression of young and sprightly from this particular distillery. And just if I may, very quickly, the bottle note: aromas of spiky nettle leaves and gooseberries, followed by malty cereal notes, water-added notes of fruity Bircher muesli, and spiced apple juice. So
nice.
There's a little sneak peek for that. And of course, for those of you who just joined us, the bottle note is just a fraction of what you will get from the tasting note on our website. And then for Matt and all the tar guys out there, this should probably tickle your fancy just fine. Cask 53.345, industrial chimney soot. Not really beating around the bush with this one, just getting straight to it. So as most of our 53s, you know, it's 9 to 11 years old. This is 11 out of a refill hoggy, which seems to be the cask of choice to really show off the pure Islay malt that people look for. So this is probably a bit more, you know, with these 53s, I always tend to get a really nice core of vanilla character. I haven't tasted this yet. I have nosed it, and it's all peat and maritime and really fun on the nose. But yeah. So with this guy, maybe a little less vanilla, a little more just kicking the ass. But yeah. So those are the two that you can expect in addition to the 4 that we've tasted.
Nice.
There is a bundle featuring the 39.204, the 113.39, and the 53.345. So nice. Yeah, some
there
really
it is.
Good stuff. Yeah,
that's the full mid-month outturn, and yeah. So I'm gonna pull this off the screen. So grab your screenshots or whatever it is you need to grab, and we will be putting these up live at 2 o'clock. So in like 3 minutes.
Yeah. And once again, for those of you who weren't with us at the very beginning, we're going to be getting together on Monday night, January 25th. That is Burns night. And just having a few drams, including the Burns night bottling and a few other tasty, there's a couple of black labels, there's some other stuff. So, and we're joined by Jason Waddleton, who's going to give a superb address to the haggis. I might try and have haggis from member Joe Germano in front of me that he sent me from Seattle. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, so we hope you guys can join us on Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and we can do this again. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Great
you.
seeing you.
This was incredible.
I'm glad you enjoyed all the whiskey.
I'm going to be so happy. So when everybody calls now, I'll be in like the best mood ever because I get to talk about all of these beautiful whiskeys. So
nice.
Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks for everyone who tuned in.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed it.
So, yep, these go live in 3 minutes on the website. So get logged into your accounts and be ready. So we'll be here. You can give us a call. And we'll be happy to help you place orders over the phone or answer any questions you have. And yeah, so I don't know if I have any whiskey left, but I'll cheers you out. I saved
a little of the Desert Island Dream Jam.
I drink all mine.
All right. Well, cheers, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.